Now, our modern world, it prizes the freedom to define yourself. I'm going to be online, and I'm going to shape my own online presence to look exactly how I want people to think. We switch allegiances when it's convenient. And we treat community like it's a revolving door. Listen, Corinth, this city was no different. They had the upward mobility of a freed man, was a slave, now he is freed. There was the elitism of the educated. There was the scorn of the weak. But Paul says, if you're a Christian, you don't craft your own identity. You don't shape your own identity. You receive it. You don't audition to belong to God. You're given it by Him. You don't come as a Christian and sip from many different fountains. You all drink from one Spirit. And listen, that's liberating and it's offensive. Because it confronts our idea that we're autonomous, our autonomy. Just think with me for a moment about how our city speaks about belonging. Workplaces speak about an inclusive culture. Gyms will sell the idea of fit families. Universities and schools will celebrate diversity and inclusion. And yet, loneliness has never been higher. And anxiety about what my identity is has never been sharper than it is in this cultural moment. The promise of belonging without covenant, without a binding relationship, it always collapses into disappointment. You end up belonging until you no longer perform, or you no longer produce, or you no longer go along with the group's vibe. But Paul describes a belonging that's rooted in something much deeper than my preference and much deeper than my performance. He says our belonging as the people of God is rooted in one baptism, and it's sustained not by you, but by the Spirit, by God's Spirit. Friends, think with me for a moment of an orchestra or a band. Each musician doesn't enter in, wandering onto the stage with an instrument and thinking, oh, well, these guys are playing a song. Do you mind if I just try a little bit, and then walks out when they're finished? My fingers were it's a bit painful when I keep holding that position on the guitar, so I'm just leaving now. Not feeling it. They don't do that. They have an audition, and then they're given an assignment. And then they all tune their instruments to the same pitch, the same note before the music begins. Without that tuning, it doesn't matter how talented the player, the sound is chaos. Or jazz, I don't know. I'm just joking. But baptism and the Spirit, it's the tuning fork. Without baptism in the Spirit, what we call church, it's just a noise.